Hey everyone, we're going to be setting up a single player game today in Civ 6. So we're going to create a new game. We're going to do random leader, advanced setup over here. We're going to add 2 additional AI players on a small map. We'll go ahead and select continents with islands. Leader pool is everyone, standard. Let's bump city states up to 11, disaster intensity to 4. For difficulty today, we're going to go to mortal. Standard game pace, all the natural wonders, start position, all those are default. We're not going to use Apocalypse mode today. Barbarian Clans mode is on. We'll also use the Monopolies and Corporations mode. Why don't we do the Tech and Civ Shuffle mode as well? We're going to disable Score Victory, and let's load in and see who we roll.
From the first stirrings of life beneath water,
All right, so we rolled
the
the
great
Australian
beasts
Empire.
of the Stone Age,
They've got a few different
to
buffs
man
here.
taking
So
his
first off,
first
the
upright
unique units, we've
steps,
got the
you
Digger
have come far.
and the Outback Station,
Now
which is a
begins
unique
your
improvement that'll
greatest
give us
quest.
different yields on
From this
tiles
early
here.
cradle of civilization,
Citadel
on
of
towards
Civilization
the
is
stars.
100% production
Prime
if they
Minister
have
Curtin,
either received
you will
declaration
lead
of war
Australia
or
through
liberated the
challenge
city in
after
the past 10
challenge,
turns.
and your
So
people
we'll
will
look to
emerge
be
all
going
the
to war
stronger
pretty
for it.
frequently. And
Others will
land down
seek
under, we do
friendship for
gain
your
3
strength.
housing in
If these
coastal
friends prove
cities, which
loyal,
is nice, so we don't
your
need that
might
fresh
and
water.
protection will
And
carry you
pastures
far.
trigger cultural
But stay
bomb, and
vigilant,
yields from
for
campuses, commercial
aggression
hubs, holy
is
sites,
not
and
your
theater
natural
squares are
course.
+1. In tiles with charming appeal and +3 in breathtaking. So we will want to get our appeal raised up and look to keep war declarations moving throughout the game. So to start off here, I'm going to move over 1 tile. It's going to give me a good harbor here with a plus adjacency with these whales or fish, it looks like. And this will also make it very hard, very easy for us to defend a city location here, very hard for someone to be attacking. They'll only have ground access from these 2 tiles here, which will give them hard time getting a flanking bonus, and 3 coastal tiles to defend against. So go ahead and settle our first city here of Canberra. Pop open the tech tree here, and let's take a look at what the map is giving us. So we've got some cattle. We haven't really found anything else. We will want to get fishing boats online here pretty quick. That'll get our economy going with the +1 gold and +2 food. We do have a good tile here with the furs, the foxes. We've got +3 food, +2 production, and +1 gold, which is a great early game tile. As you can see here, we're going to get population growth in just 5 turns. So let's see what we want to use here, and this kind of give us the benefit of the upcoming technologies. So let's go ahead and start with animal husbandry. That'll get us our furs. Actually, yes, it will with the camp. So that'll get our furs online. Increase the benefit of that tile there. We're also going to start with our scout. Take 6 turns to produce a scout, and that'll allow us to explore the map much quicker here than moving our warrior around. We have found our first city-state. Does not give us great land usage here to our north. Let's see if we can settle city 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, we're really limited on where we can settle a city. In fact, we can't settle a city anywhere to our north here. And not knowing what the landmass is going to do here to my east, we might be able to squeeze in 1 city if this is truly a tile here. It looks like it does have a cliff face showing. Sometimes if we zoom in here, you can kind of see that the cliff might round down on this hex here. Keep plugging here. We'll use our early game open borders to step in, get a little bit more visibility. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get past this city to explore further north, but it doesn't look like there's much more landmass here. And if this is a 3-tile lake, which it might or might not be, this looks like it is water here. If this is indeed an inland lake, we might be able to get around on the east side here once we get our scout in 1 turn. We've already grown to 2 population. We've got some meteors falling over here to the northeast of us. Let's see, we can only move this warrior 1 space right now, so we'll do so. We'll take this scout, we'll start sending him down to the east and see if it's really worth producing this settler. I'm going to pop a few turns into it at least until we know. We'll continue to move this warrior out and this scout to the east. Okay, so we do have at least 1 tile that we can settle on, and that's going to be this 2 food, 2 production tile. Does look like it's got a rainforest there. Continue to bring our warrior back down. He'll defend our opening city. Yeah, and so this was kind of a worst case scenario where we're pretty landlocked at the moment. We're going to need embarkation to get anywhere else and do some exploring. So definitely don't want to put any turns into
It
like
is
a
not
scout unit
wisdom.
yet. Okay, we just unlocked our first government, which gives us one military policy slot and one economic policy slot. To try and get the early game religion and the Pantheon founded, we're going to plug in God King, which gives us +1 gold and +1 faith, as you can read there. And I do have some mods activated in this game, as you can see. So this policy card, I don't remember the name of the mod, but I can plug it in into the description of the video. But in these policy cards, it'll give you a better readout of what you're truly gaining. So +1 production in all cities shows +1 production. This comes in handy late in game where you might have multiple cities. It'll say +7 production. And then early game will also plug in for barbarian strength. We haven't encountered any yet. And we do have clan mode on, so we can pay them off so that they don't attack us, but in reality, we are incentivized to attack barbarians. Here, if we pop into the tech tree, and you can see some of the boosts that you can get on these tech trees. So this was founding a city on the coast. We've already achieved this boost, and so it's bright blue. There is a boost for another tech where if you defeat 3 barbarian units, you get a boost towards that tech. So we're going to pop into our civ tree and we're going to select our next civ that we want to chase down. Preserves are great. Getting these +2 great profit points early game and +2 great scientist points are great early game. But keep in mind, you do need the government that would allow you to plug those in. As you can see right now, our government does not allow those policy slots. And so we really do need to get into our tier, I guess this would be tier 2, even though it's called tier 1, since this is an opening tier 1. So we do need to get in our tier 2 government where we can plug in those additional cards. So keeping that in mind, let's open the civics tree here. Really all we can benefit from here is the 15 production towards ancient and classical wonders and the conscription, which is unit maintenance reduced by 1 gold per turn, which if we come up here and hover gold per turn, you can see our expenses right now are 0. All we have is a warrior unit and a scout unit. So neither of those really help us out. It's really what's going to get us into this next layer of civics. We could jump ahead and do early empire, which does buy us reduced purchasing for tiles and 50% production towards settlers and +2 loyalty for garrisoned units. We don't have any loyalty issues. We haven't found another civ yet that's going to be really affecting that. I don't know that this is really an oracle game, not looking to go that way. We do want to get into preserves to get our appeal up, tile appeal up, and again we'll pop into a lens here and oops, not tourism, not loyalty, appeal. Here we go. And so you can see we've already got great appeal on this island that we're on, and so there's not a huge benefit for us to getting that appeal bonus yet, but I am going to go ahead and do early empire, and that'll move us towards foreign trade, which we do already have boosted. We're going to keep plugging on here, so it looks like we unlocked animal husbandry now. Go and open this tech tree, and why don't we do pottery, and that's going to race us towards sailing and fishing, and that's really what we've got going on here on the coastline. We're going to have potentially 3 fisheries that we can put online by the time we do get pottery and sailing opened up. We're going to keep moving this warrior back down towards our city here. We're going to pop the scout into our territory here so that when we do unlock that tech and we can do embarkation, we will immediately get that benefit and hopefully, let's see here. There is a cliff face here and we can cross the shallow waters to get to. Obviously, the barbarians just came in, the clan breaking wave. So this would be pretty high risk to cross this straight here and get onto this cliff face. The best shot we do have here is I'll move into this cow tile. We'll pop one tile into this shallow coastline and then be able to get back on land and hopefully avoid any openness to attacks from a barbarian. We're going to pop the warrior into our city here and garrison that unit. That'll buy us a little additional garrison strength there. We're going to keep this scout just on defend mode for now until we do have the ability to embark there, and early game we're going to keep plugging along. Let's pop into the city and make sure that we're working the correct tiles that we want here. And it does look like we are. We've got the foxes online and this +1 food, +2 production tile with the forest here, which if you're trying to grow your population quickly, you could pop into one of the fish tiles and work the two food, 1 gold tile instead. At the moment, we've got 3 turns until pop growth, which is great because that's 1 turn before we pop out a settler, which will eat one of our population out of this city. We're going to walk that settler down here and settle a new city on this coastline, and that'll get us some more resources over here. We'll have pearls, which are a luxury, which will bring up our happiness of our cities caused by amenities. And so in reality, this will become a 3-pop city for 1 turn. We'll lose the 3rd pop to a settler, which is okay. We'll continue working these 2 tiles here, and we'll see what we want to produce next. We did take a bit of a beating from this barbarian galley over here. We don't have a good way of defending against that at the moment, which I think will be fine. Shouldn't have any issue losing the city right now unless we see a bunch of galleys come our way, or ranged units would be harder to defend
Clay
against.
must feel.
Great thing about settlers is they have a much wider range of vision on the map. And so if you notice, the moment we spawned this unit, we did get a little bit extra vision out this way off the coastline. Didn't find any land this way, but it does look like, remember, shallow coastal tiles are usually within 2 to 3 tiles of the edge of map. And so it does look like there's probably a landmass that curls around this way since we do have a connection point here. So let's go ahead and walk our settler down here to this corner where we want to settle. Not too worried about escorting him. Again, we're on this island. We don't have any barbarians so far. We did explore this way. We didn't see any barbarian units, and we don't see any of their territories, so they shouldn't be spawning any units. So I'm comfortable with walking this unit down here by himself without an escort. It'll be a really low risk. So let's go ahead and pop into archery. We unfortunately can't get this boost. We don't have a slinger, and we don't have any units that we could kill with a slinger. Ideally, you'd be looking for barbarians early game, unless you're planning on going to an early game war against another civ, or if you really wanted to take out a city-state, you could potentially get that boost through there. Let's go ahead and pop in and buy a builder. Again, without the embarkation, we can't really get over to this island. We're not looking to explore the map. We don't have anywhere that we can settle at the moment once we pop this settler down. So I think a builder is really going to be our best route. We'll be able to with animal husbandry, which we already have, and we'll also be able to pop down a camp on the furs here and increase those outputs. Keep plugging along here, just skipping turns in the early game where we can't really do much in between turns. We're going to go ahead and found the city. We'll wipe out that rainforest, but we'll keep the 2 food, 2 production tile here, which is great early game. And remember, when you're working tiles, you'll always have the benefit of the city tile. Notice you've got a civ in there that you can't move around. And the +1 population here, you assign to one of these tiles that you can work within the city. You can't work mountains, and so this is not a workable tile. And so of the tiles that we have here, the AI usually does a great job of assigning it to the maximum output tile. So we've got a 2, a +3, +2, +3, and a +4. And so it's already assigned it to that +4 tile. When you do want to watch out for is if you have a tile such as this one in your empire, where it's a +2 food, +1 production, +1 gold. That's a +4 tile, and the AI might automatically assign this tile because you're getting more yields out of it. If you're trying to produce a unit, especially when you found a new city, look at how much uh, longer all these units are going to take. Like a granary will take 19 turns. If we pop into our capital, granary is only 10 turns over here. And so production is very uh, desired in your early game, early city founding. And so to maximize that, you want to make sure that you're assigning your population, let's call them, towards the tile that's going to get you the most food, most production. And so this, although it's a +4 output and you're gaining 1 gold per turn, we're already getting 7. We don't have any expenses. And so our gold is going up in the coffers, and we don't need that extra gold, and we would be losing out on 50% of the production from this tile. So with that said, we're going to keep the population on this +2 food, +2 production, and we're going to take a look at what we want to build in this city. I am going to go ahead with the granary. We already have 6 housing space in here, but that'll bump us up to 8. And the way we know that is if we pop in here and look at the granary, notice if you hover over it, it'll give you a little drop down. It says it is a building. It's also going to grant the city +1 food and +2 housing. And so having +8 housing space in this secondary city so early game is huge. And remember, there's a benefit here. If you do get a 10 pop city early game, you'll have a era score towards your golden age or normal age. So let's go ahead and keep working this. We did have a barbarian clan settle in between us and the city-state up here. So I'm going to go ahead and move our warrior up a tile. He'll have a defensive bonus for being on hills. Yep. And in a forest. And so if this scout were to attack us, they would be attacking into a modifier. They did not attack us. We're going to go ahead and pop this guy. We do want to take out this clan, and we do want to get the benefit of killing some barbarian units. So we're going to continue to step into defensive modifiers so we can have the best shot of killing those units and get our boosts. So we did just pop out a builder. I did move him up onto this forest hill tile that has the firs, which ate up all of his movement speed right now. Next turn, we'll go ahead and pop down the camp to harvest that. Looking in our capital right now, let's see. We're going to be working on archery for the next 8 turns. We won't be able to embark any units for at least another 20 turns. So again, not looking to pop out too many units. We do have 9 housing space in our capital already. Why don't we start working on the granary? That'll get us 11 housing space. And again, slightly closer to having that +10 pop in a city. Okay, so this scout just moved onto a hill tile without forest. We're going to move up into that tile there. Let's see, this is hills, so this scout shouldn't be able to take my builder. So I'm going to go ahead and pop down a camp there, increasing this tile yield to +3 food, +2 production, +3 gold. We continue to grow our borders. We now have the cattle bonus resource in our land. We have 2 fishing tiles we can pop down on, and we do have 2 forest tiles eventually if we get a sawmill online. Let's see what this barbarian does here. So the barbarians did not move. Let's go ahead and attack the scout. We'll see if we can't stay on our defensive modifier tile and entice them to attack us as we lose some health. Again, early game, we've got defensive modifications on our unit here and a +5 plugged in from our government policies, so not too concerned about losing that unit. The scout didn't move down to take my builder, which is great. I'm going to start moving down to the cattle resources here. In fact, how far are we away from fishing? We're still pretty far. So I'm going to keep moving down to the cattle. We'll get the cattle online. This builder will only have 1 charge remaining once we get the cattle online. And if that's the case, I think I'm going to send them over to my second city here. And once we do get fishing online, we're going to get one of the pearls online in our second city. And this city will pop out another builder to where we can get the 2 fish farms online later on. So he's on track to where he needs to be going.
Back over the pass.
Okay, just finished another civic. Pop into our government policies here. We don't need loyalty for garrison units. We're not doing a bunch of exploring with recon units, so that doesn't make sense with survey. And then our economic policy, we haven't gotten our pantheon yet, and so I'm really enticed to keep this +1 faith going for now. If we didn't need the +1 faith, I'd be plugging in +50% production towards settlers, and that would allow me to pop out settlers much faster. Unfortunately, with our landmass and where we're at on the map right now, settlers just don't make any sense. We can't settle anywhere until we can embark, and I'm not even sure where we're going to want to go after that until we can embark. So with that being said, let's go ahead and hit this scout again. This will bring him down real low in health. Yep. So he'll be 1 shot and pop into our civics tree. Let's see. So we don't see where our next tier of government is at yet. It's still hidden. Let's go ahead and do foreign trade. We do have it boosted. Again, these aren't really buying us much benefit if we do them, and the longer we wait, hopefully the more opportunity we have to build any specialty district, which will get us this boost, or found a pantheon, which is inevitable here. Should be in one turn. I believe it happens at plus 20 faith, and so that'll found a pantheon and allow us to get mysticism boosted. But for now, this is the one that'll get us the most benefit, where we could plug in cards and open trade routes, so we'll stay on foreign trade. We have unlocked a governor tile, and let's read our civ benefits here. We know that we want to be going to war a lot. We shouldn't have any loyalty issues for the short term. And so looking at our governor tiles, the governor that's most geared towards war empires is Victor. It takes 3 turns to establish, which is 2 turns faster than all the other governors, which take 5. You can see in the background here. He does buy you 8 loyalty per turn, which is great, and that's explained here. You've got military focus, and he also increases the city garrison combat strength by 5. But with that being said, I don't see a huge bonus there. I don't intend to go for a religious game. Let's see. And so Moksha, for now, does not appear to be a good pick. Amani, we're not going to need Amani. She's a city-state focused governor. We only have one city-state revealed on the map at the moment. Magnus is probably looking like our best bet, and here's why I would say that. His base ability buys you 50% yield bonus from plot harvests and features removals in the game. And so looking at our cities here, we can chop this forest here and this forest here. And when we chop that, it'll spit out a massive amount of production all at once that goes into the city that owns that tile. And if we implant our governor here, Magnus, he'll buy us 50% additional production output to that city. So he's looking like the early game candidate winner. We could also go for Liang. She has some benefits here for production towards city districts, which is great. She gets food and housing from sea resources, which is great because we're on coastal cities so far, and housing later on. Builders also get +1 build charge. Pingala, don't see a need for him yet, although he could come in really handy. We're going to have kind of a population growth in this city. We're up to 3 right now, and we're taking 17 turns. We'll get +1 food off the granary and plus food off of the fish out here and the cattle. So, you know, now that I'm thinking about Pingala, could be major in the sense that his bonuses here will buy us +1 culture or +1 science per turn for each citizen in the city that he's in. And so if we do get this city up to 10 pop quickly, that buys us 10 culture or 10 science, or both if we unlock both these tier 1 level cards quickly. So the other ability that I have is I can save my governor promotion for now until I know which route I want to go. But I do think the play here is that I'm going to pop in Magnus into my capital. And the reason why is I'm going to be able to chop these 2 forest tiles, get a lot of production out of them, and coming up in the future, if I do get other cities, I can bounce him into those cities to get the chop ability boost. And Magnus also has a tier 1 card where settlers do not consume a population. Given that this looks like it's going to be a lot of smaller islands around me, and I'm going to be racing civs to get to those islands, I think it's smart to go towards that tier 1 card here. Get the provision where I get the settler minus the pop, and that allow me to keep building my population in my capital and pop out settlers to all these smaller islands quickly. So that's a little bit of the thinking behind that. This scout is dead. I'm going to step my scout into the city here, and next turn I'll hit that scout with my scout, take him out. Let's see. So it's a major defeat here if I attack. So the best thing I can do is fortify and heal right now against that barbarian warrior up there. This builder is going to plop down my pasture. And because I am playing as John Curtin, He gets a, let's see where it is. He gets a culture bomb, which takes over tiles. Here it is. Whenever he plops down a pasture. So pastures trigger a culture bomb, and culture bomb just means that I'm going to take over any adjacent tiles to the tile I put the pasture on immediately. And so that's why my territorial boundaries just grew. It's not a huge bonus right now. There's not any better tiles for me to be working. They're all just plus one food and gold down there in the shallow coastline. But it is nice to expand those borders, and it takes off the time to do so via culture in the future. So I'm going to continue to move this builder into my second city here and get him in place to get the pearls online, which will buy me +1 amenity as soon as I can. I'm going to take my scout and move forward and kind of pin this scout to where he can only move one tile, either this way or that way. Whichever way he goes, it doesn't matter. He's going to be dead here pretty quick. I do want to take him out with my scout and allow this warrior to continue to heal. So it's going to take me one more turn to chase him down, it looks like, unfortunately. Continue to move this builder towards my pearls. And great, looks like we're going to get a little bit of help from our city-state to the north if this warrior attacks the barbarian clan. I'm going to kill this scout with my scout. That'll earn him XP, 5 XP, and you can track your progression towards a level up on this unit. So you can see we've got 5 out of the 15 XP now until level 2, which is great. I'm going to take this builder and continue to move it into the city here and prep him. And because of the cliffs here, normally this builder would not be able to go direct into the ocean here. The best bet would be keeping him on this tile, pop him into the ocean, and move him onto the pearls here. The benefit of having this city on the coastline, though, is this canal will allow him to embark directly from the city, even though that this city is on a cliff line. And cliffs limit your ability to get on or off of the land here. So if I had embarked unit here, he would not be able to scale the cliffs here unless he had a scaling cliffs promotion, which allows the unit to do so. He would have to navigate either to this tile or to this tile, but this tile would not allow him to get into the city because of the mountain range. And so the benefit of the city having this canal through it is huge, that it can embark or take units off the ocean immediately. So we're going to keep that builder there for now. Let's see. We want to go into sailing to get fishing online as soon as possible. Not sure why that builder didn't go to sleep, but it did now. So we're going to allow the city-state to attack here first. Again, the city-state's at a disadvantage. They're attacking against a fortified unit, and they're also attacking across the river, so they're really losing out on their modifiers here. And you can read up on modifiers when you hover over this unit. So I have my warrior selected here. I'm going to hover over the barbarian warrior here, and down here in the bottom right of the screen, you can see my warrior versus their warrior. They have a -2 modifier from a damaged unit, but +3 from ideal terrain, and +6 for a fortified defense position. And my unit has a +20 base strength and a +5 for my policy card, the advantage versus barbarians. And so they still have the higher 27 versus 25 roll on strength, but as I hit them, that will go down. I can continue to fortify and heal these units as needed. And if my city-state to the north attacks again, that might bring them down enough to where my warrior can take them out next hit. What I want to avoid with certainty is not getting the last hit on this warrior and allowing the city-state to get that kill. That would be huge. And so getting that last attack will get me XP, will allow me to dissolve this encampment, which will get me bonuses, typically gold or something along those lines. So popping into our capital here, do want to start, let's see, we've got 10 turns until sailing. Temple of Artemis would be great, but there's not really land to pop that down on right now, and so we're not going to do that. We do have our scout to hit the islands once we get embarkation. Why don't we start on an archer, at least pop a few turns into that for now. We will need another builder to get these fish online, but we have a few turns to burn, and we'll put those towards the archer for now. Okay, So it looks like the warrior from our city-state got killed, unfortunately, by the barbarians, which is fine. My warrior, if we look at the prediction of the battle here in the bottom right, it says it's a stalemate and I won't get the kill. If I can attack them with my scout here first, that should get them low enough to where my warrior can kill them this turn, and it will, which is great. We unfortunately are trending towards a dark era. We only got 4 out of our 11 needed era score to get to a normal era for the next era here. We're in ancient, or sorry, we're trending towards ancient era. No, we are in ancient era. So that's unfortunate, but unfortunately the reality is there wasn't a lot to explore. We couldn't find other civs or city-states. We couldn't find any natural wonders on our homeland, and those all grant you era score in the ancient era. So looking ahead, I think I want to find out what's on this landmass first. It looks like it might be the second largest. You can see kind of a land tile here and a shoreline. This looks like it's probably a pretty good sized landmass, but again, we've got a larger strait to cross to get to it, and we've got cliffs. And so I do want to send my units to this side first. And with that being said, it looks like the Gray Rat Barbarians clan has a warrior standing over there. So we're going to have to account for that. We can't just send a scout and hope that he lives. We will have to send either our archer or warrior down there with him. So we're out of turns for movement up here for now, which is fine. We did get our Pantheon at 28 faith. And let's take a look. A lot of the times, like River Goddess is great, it gives you +2 amenity, +2 housing from cities if the Holy Site District is adjacent to a river. Right now, what I'm seeing on our homeland, we've got one river here next to our capital. I don't want to lose this fir tile, so that takes that tile out. We could harvest the forest here and plop down um, a holy site here, but if we do so, it's a +1 faith. That's not really beneficial. Let's see what else we have. There's not a whole lot of rainforest left, which I believe there's a benefit for rainforest adjacent to your holy site. We don't have volcanoes or geothermal fissures. Honestly, the best bet here might be the +1 faith from Breathtaking Appeal. If you recall, when we put on the Breathtaking Appeal filter here, we do have quite a few tiles. It's this dark green here. And you'll only get that +1 faith from tiles that are within your empire borders, but they're going to continue to expand, and I think that's probably really the move, and it'll get us a lot of early game faith. Let's see, is there anything else that makes sense here? We don't have a bunch of camps. We don't have a bunch of pastures. We don't have desert tiles. We don't have enough rainforest to make it worth it right now. I do really like Dance of the Aurora, which it looks like was already selected anyway. But Dance of the Aurora gets you +1 faith from adjacency to tundra tiles. And obviously we don't have any tundra tiles in this game, but that is, in my opinion, a goated selection if you are near tundra. So we are towards the northern border of the map, but given that we can't see any tundra tiles, really, that's not worth it anyway. I am going to go ahead and take Earth Goddess, which is the +1 faith tile from tiles with a Breathtaking Appeal. And our faith just bounced up per turn. So you can, if I zoom in here, you can see I'm getting +1 faith on these tiles now, +1 faith down here and here. And as these borders grow, we'll continue to grow that +1 faith. Now, something to keep in mind, and I'll show you here, if I pop into this city, you're not immediately going to get that +1 faith. In this city, we are, well, we're working 2 of the 3 tiles that have it. You'll only get that +1 faith. Oh, this tile does too, I guess. You only get that +1 faith if you have a citizen that's working that tile. And so, for example, here we are getting that +1 faith off this tile, but we are not working this +1 faith on this tile yet. And so that's another thing to make sure. If you're really wanting to get that +1 faith, you have to be working those tiles to do so. So with that being said, let's pop into this warrior. We're staying on top of his camp. We could destroy the outpost, and that'll get us 10 XP. We already have a promotion available, and so we can't stack XP here. So it would not make sense to burn this yet. We could also raid the clan, which gets us 35 gold. It's nowhere near becoming a city-state, and so the bonus here of 10 turns towards a city-state conversion won't be give us a disadvantage yet. Given that he's low health, I think I'm going to promote, and let's give him the +7 combat strength towards melee and ranged units. +10 combat strength on the surface sounds better than the +7, but keep in mind that's only combat strength when defending against ranged attacks. So you have to be being attacked by a unit, and on top of that, that unit has to be a ranged unit. And so it really makes sense to take Battle Cry here, the +7 combat strength. He will also get 50 health points back when he heals off that promotion. Likely what's going to happen here is he'll get bounced off of this tile, and the clan is going to produce a new unit, which will stink. It's going to delay when we can dissolve this camp and get our 10 XP. But in reality, we've killed 2 barbarian units. Remember, if we kill the third one, we'll get a bonus boost on our tech tree. And so it's not the end of the world if that does happen, which it did not. And in that case, he's going to continue to heal. We're at 99 out of 100 health points here. I'm going to go ahead and raid this clan. It immediately gives me 35 gold. And hopefully that allows, yep, there we go. So unfortunately, man, that was really the worst case scenario here. So I'm going to start retreating this scout. I'm going to put him into a fortified defense because this warrior is likely going to attack him next turn. As long as he doesn't kill him, I can sneak him into my city and heal him. Uh, this was really the worst case scenario though. It bounced my warrior away from my homeland onto a tile across a river, which is going to make it extremely challenging to attack and kill this warrior across the river. If I hover over it, you can see we do have a slight advantage of 30 to 32, but if we weren't attacking over a river, it would be significantly easier. See it on their warrior in the bottom left, it's reading +5 river defense. It would really be a 25 versus 32 if I was bounced to one of these 2 tiles and attacking them. With that being said, let's go ahead and attack their warrior once on this turn. We're going to take him down a little bit. This warrior is just going to stay fortified, won't heal from that tile. Let's see what happens with my scout here. Okay, didn't kill the scout. They're going to attack across this river, which is really shocking to me. That doesn't make any sense because that just was a death sentence for this warrior here. I'm going to take this scout and continue to retreat, and hopefully they shouldn't be able to reach me here with their movement speed. And so I'll be able to pop him into the city and heal him. I'm really shocked that this warrior attacked across the river because they have a huge modifier that basically made this a death sentence for him. He won't be able to heal on that tile. Instead, I'm going to fortify and heal. He's going to attack again, which is going to kill him, which gets me the Eureka, the scientific boost towards bronze working, which is great. So let's see. They walked their warrior towards my city, which I think is going to be fine. We'll pop the scout into my capital, start healing him. I do want to step onto this tile and immediately kill that encampment if I can. We just finished the granary in my second city. Let's see what we want to produce here. We've got an archer on the way. We could pop out a builder. Really don't want to take a settler from here. I'd rather pop the settler out of my capital city. So why don't we work on a second scout? That way once we do get embarkment, we can pop 2 scouts 2 different directions, maybe even to the Gulf over here. All right, continue to progress here. We have our Pantheon now, so it really doesn't make sense to keep God King in. So let's pop God King out. The +1 production in each city is fine. I don't know that I really need that. I'm getting pretty good production, especially in my capital. I don't plan to buy any tiles, so land surveyors doesn't make a lot of sense here. Unfortunately, don't have any trade routes yet. We have capacity for 1, but I don't have the trader, and so +2 gold isn't super beneficial. God King we took out, so it's really going to leave colonization, which is what I do really want. It's 50% production towards settlers, and hopefully once I start scouting islands around me, I'll be popping out a bunch of settlers. Since we're currently battling the barbarians, I don't need loyalty. Having plus 100 production towards ancient and classical era naval units would be fine, especially to protect my coastline, but, and we don't need survey. I think the play here is to keep the plus 5 against barbarians. So this warrior is staying on their camp. He is going to disperse the clan, which will get me plus 3 era score. That'll get me to 8 out of the 11. I don't think we're going to make it on time. We did get a few Eurekas here. Let's look at our tech tree. Sorry, our civics tree. So theology will be boosted off of a religion. We could go for that, but I don't think that it makes sense yet to rush that. Let's go ahead and pop into mysticism. It's only going to take us 8 turns. It's already boosted. We won't have a huge use for it, but it will need to be researched in the future anyway. And so since it's boosted, I think that's the one that makes the most sense. This warrior is going to attack my capital, which again is just going to be a death sentence. He's going to basically attack himself to death. I'll move my warrior ahead even though he's injured. We did just pop out a archer, so I'm going to move my scout out of the way. I can only have one defensive unit in this city, and if you notice, I couldn't attack with my ranged unit when I had them stacked, and so my scout will move across this river. He's got some movement left. I'm just going to fortify him until he's healed and get him ready to go across the seas. My archer is going to go ahead, and I could shoot this warrior. I really want to kill the warrior with my archer, and so if I do that, between this turn and my next turn, the warrior is likely going to attack my city since they don't have a camp anymore, and that will kill him with the city. And so to avoid that, I'm going to shoot this archer. I'll get him down to half health, and my goal here is hopefully this warrior attacks my city, leaves him one shot. I can kill him my next turn with my archer. I don't know that that's how it's going to pan out, but fingers crossed that it is. I am going to get a trader started in my capital so I can start trading with my city-state neighbor. Let's see what happens here. So the scout's going to attack my warrior, which is going to kill him. So I'll get XP with my warrior. The warrior did attack my city and didn't kill him, which is great. And I'm going to take, like I said, I want to kill him with my archer, get the XP. So I'm going to shoot this warrior with my archer. That'll for sure kill him since he only had 15 health, it looks like. I don't need this warrior anywhere at the moment, so I'm just going to keep him fortified in place and heal him outside my borders. Pop into the tech tree here. So we have astrology boosted now, and we have it revealed on the map. Here's our bronze working, which we got boosted with our 3 barbarian kills. I don't know that I want to research this. The unfortunate reality of Civ 6 is once you research a technology that has something like iron resource that gets revealed on the map, that iron resource will show up on the map, and unless you have mods, you cannot remove that resource. And so if it spawns somewhere where you want to place a maybe a campus or a holy site, some sort of district, that kind of really screws you over. So I think the move here, we do need to get embarkment revealed and researched, but I think the move here is going to be mining. You can't boost either of these front 3 technologies. And so this is the lowest that it'll ever get is 25 science. Right now I'm producing 5 science per turn, so it's going to be 5 turns to get to the 25. After that, I think I will pop into astrology just so I can place my holy site and start working towards a religion. Even though I'm not going for a religious victory, the benefits from the religion can help you out towards your other victory conditions, which are pretty invaluable. And if you don't get a religion, it's not the end of the world, but you do miss out on those benefits. So we did fall into a dark era here. Unfortunately, just not enough exploring, not a way to get over to the other land masses around us and get more era score. So here's all the other unmet players. We can't see what kind of era they fell into, but we do make one dedication here, and these will benefit our era score for the next era, moving into classical, I believe it is. Yeah, classical era. And so free inquiry will get us +1 era score each time we trigger Eureka or +1 for constructing a building that provides science as a base yield. Pen, brush, and voice gets us +1 era score each time we trigger a inspiration. Inspiration is on your on your civics tree, or +1 for constructing a building with a great work slot. Monumentality gets us +1 each time we construct a new specialty district, which we'll be doing that with our campuses, hopefully, and our religious districts. And then the Exodus of Evangelists gets us +2 era score each time we convert a city to our founded religion for the first time. We don't have a religion, and I don't think we'll have a religion until at least halfway through this era. And so although this gets us 100% more era score each time we achieve it, this does not make a whole lot of sense to me. I do think we're going to be hitting a lot of Eurekas, hopefully, this era. And so I'm going to take the free inquiry, which will get us +1 each time we get the Eureka, or +1 anytime we construct a building like a library. My scout and warrior will continue to heal. We're going to continue to move forward in turns. We just got mining and mysticism at the same time. Let's pop into our government and see what makes sense here. We're not fighting barbarians anymore. I think I'm going to plug in the 100% towards ancient and classical era naval units, and hopefully that'll allow me to produce a galley and start exploring the coastline real quick. I am going to keep, we did unlock the Dark Era cards, which in my opinion, especially early game, aren't going to get me a whole lot of benefits. You can actually see this one kind of hurts us since we don't have any holy sites. We're not gaining any science, and instead we'll lose 25% culture. So none of those Dark Era cards make any sense. I would love to plug in Revelations. That gets me +2 great profit points. Unfortunately, we just don't have the wildcard policy slot unlocked yet. And so I think that I'll keep colonization, plug in maritime industries, and that'll be our agenda for now. We did get our trader in the capital. I do want to trade and get +3 gold with our city-state neighbor. That'll get us a Eureka, which, if you recall, gets us +1 era score, which is great, and moves us closer on, which one was that, currency, by unlocking a trade route. So all great things. We'll open our tech tree. We do need to select astrology. We'll continue to work towards that. Likely after astrology, I'll start working towards the wheel, and that'll unlock that top level of our tech tree and reveal our hidden techs right now. Our civics tree, we do have to select a civic to start working on. Again, we haven't unlocked the bonus for state workforce, which is building in a specialty district. We're going to do that soon, just haven't done it yet. We do have military tradition boosted by dispersing the barbarian outpost, and so I'm going to go ahead and research that since it is boosted. We're going to pop into production of our capital, and the +100% is going to produce a galley in 3 turns, and that is so worth it. We did unlock an envoy. Up here, we have 46 influence points, +1 influence point per turn. That gets us 1 envoy, and I could plug him into our city-state neighbor to the north. It doesn't really buy me anything. The next bonus is at 3, and that would get me Suzantry, which gives me the Suzantry bonus. You can read that. The unique bonus is your civilization gains 2% bonus culture for each great person has ever earned, up to a total of +30%. We haven't earned any great people yet, so that's not really benefiting us at all. It would also, at 3, unlock +2 culture in every art museum, archaeological museum, and consulate building, which we don't have any of those. And so even if I had 2 to plug into here, it wouldn't make any sense. If I plug in the 1, it doesn't buy me anything other than moving me closer to that 3 level. And so I'm going to hold on to that envoy. My goal is if I meet another city-state, when I meet that city-state, I can plug in that envoy, unless we're the first person to meet them. If you are the first person to meet them, you do get the 1 envoy to begin with. If you are not the first person to meet them in the game, you'll have 0 envoys here, and if I plug in 1 envoy to that unmet city-state, it will get me that tier 1 bonus. And the tier 1 bonus from this one is +1 culture in the capital and in every amphitheater building. So the scout still can't embark. I'm just going to keep him alert. We'll pop into our second city here. We can produce another galley in 9 turns, which I think might be the move. I could also use another builder, but 15 turns for a builder is too much in my opinion. So let's go ahead and do the galley. We do have our second scout. I'm going to start moving him towards... I do want to send... Here, let's see. I do want to send one scout down here. They're both... This one's close to leveling up, and I know that there's barbarians here, so I think this probably makes sense. Keep them down here. We'll keep them on alert. We'll send our new scout this way and get him onto this landmass. Once this warrior heals, which he just did this turn, I'm going to also move him down here to the south, and my plan is to send him along with this scout to this southern landmass. Move this scout into position. Right now we're 2 blocked. We can't move any units into the sea still. We did get our galley, which gets us 2 era score, which is great. We'll send this galley over here and start exploring this coastline and see, man, and like I said, if I would have sent a scout, he would have been in shallow sea tiles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, potentially 6 sea tiles unescorted to get to this landmass, which just would have been way too long. You know, your luck, a barbarian galley would have showed up and killed that scout immediately. So not a whole lot of benefit to dropping a preserve at the moment in the capital. We could start Temple of Artemis. We now own land tiles that could go towards that. Temple of Artemis does get you +1 amenity. It has to be placed next to a camp, and it does get you +4 food and +3 housing. We already have 12 housing in the city. We've got 5 pop in there. This would be great to have. Let's do some planning here. So we know that we're going to drop, using map tax, we know that we're going to drop a harbor here. That gets us +4 adjacency, 1, 2, 3, 4 off the city here. I'd really like to get a campus, and we need to get a holy site. I think the first holy site is going to be in our second city here, and that gets us +3. Well, now let's do some thinking here. This has to be a campus. And the reason I say that is we have a coral reef here, and that gets you a +2 on your, sorry, +2 adder on your campus district, and you're also getting +1 for every adjacent mountain. And so this becomes a +5 campus versus a +4 holy site. The move to get our holy site, which we do need one in one of these 2 cities, I think it's got to be in our capital, and I think what might make the most sense, whoops, it might just be here on this coastline. It's only going to get us +1. Unfortunately, 1, 2, 3 tiles, so this is the northern edge of this city. We can't quite get it into this tile, which would have been adjacent to a river and 3 mountains. The alternative, we could place one here. Buys us a little additional faith per turn, or here gets us a little additional faith per turn. I'll pop the pin just so you can see it, +2. This is a +2. It's not, it's only saying it's getting +3 because of all these pins here. So the difference really is +1 or +2. If I placed it here, I would have to chop this forest, which I'm not ready to do so yet. And so I think the play is just going to be the +1. So our layout's going to look something like this. Might as well place this other harbor, which we know is going to go here. And that'll get us +5. We've got 3 sea resources surrounding it. It's also adjacent to the city. +5 harbor is really nice, actually. Alternative, we could place it here and get adjacency off the coral reef. I don't know that that really pans out to give us any benefit, but that +5 will be nice. All right, popping into our capital, we do need to pop out a builder. We already have a galley. We started a galley down here in our second city, so we will have 2 on the way. Temple of Artemis, like I said, would be great to have. I don't know that it beats out a builder at this point in the game. Why don't we do the builder? We could potentially lose Temple of Artemis to an unmet player. If we do, we do. I don't think that's the end-all be-all. I'm going to keep this warrior here for now because I can't sneak him past this chain of units in the way without doing a whole shuffling act. So we did unlock astrology. We'll pop into our tech tree here and see what we want to play next. And I think, like I mentioned, it's really going to be the wheel. Unfortunately, we just can't mine a resource to get that boost up, so be it. Ooh, great. We did meet Brussels. This galley is low, and so it'd be great if I could attack him next turn and kill him. It looks like I will have enough base strength to do so and get XP on that unit. We'll see what pans out. Brussels, we were not the first to meet them, and the reason I know that, we did not get the base 1 envoy for being the first player to meet them. You can also see that an unmet player has 2 envoys plugged into the city-state already. Uh, so, does it make sense to pop in the +1 envoy to Brussels? I think I think yes. The reason I say that, you can read here that tier 1 level gets me +1 production in the capital and in every city with a workshop building when producing wonders, buildings, and districts. We won't have the workshop, but we will get the +1 in our capital. The alternative is I could hold out and wait for this to find another city-state that might give me a better adder for the +1, or knowing Civ 6 a little bit, I know that there's a card coming up where I can plug into my civics and get the first envoy you send to a city-state will actually work as 2 envoys. So I could wait until I unlock that card. I would plug in 1 envoy and get 2 out of it, but that's a long way in the future. In the meantime, I'm going to start earning +1 uh, production towards my capital every turn, which is so worth it. We'll continue plugging along. This galley left me in the dust. Let's see if I can't discover him down here. There he is. He is pinned in here. He can't escape, so I am going to be able to attack him next turn no matter what. We did meet another city-state. It looks like, wow, people are really competing for the mounds benefit here. They have 7 envoys plugged in. So we're not going to get Susan Tree, and nor do I really want Susan Tree down here. We could send him a trade route. We could also send a trade route to Brussels, which gets me another envoy. I think we will do so the next time we have a trade route open. Let's see what this galley tries to do here. Okay, so he didn't try to run too hard. Let's see how close we are to producing. I'm 4 turns away on this galley. The problem I have here, whoops, I don't need that, I need this. Changing policies, I would love to plug in +5 strength, which would guarantee the kill on this galley. Pretty certain we'll get the kill on the galley without the +5 strength anyway, so not too worried. If I unplug this card, that 4 turns will escalate and probably take 6 to 8 turns to finish that 1 galley. So I'm going to keep this plugged in for the time being. Again, none of the Dark Era cards make sense here. I can't get my wild card plugged in. So all I'm looking at is the economic policies. I'm going to say that it makes sense to keep the settler card in. The unfortunate reality is I haven't used the benefit of this settler card yet, and so to make it worth my while, I do really need to start popping out settlers. Okay, we did get the kill on the Barbarian Galley, which is great. We got 5 XP. We did take a little bit of damage on that galley, and I can't heal this galley unless it's within my territorial waters, and so I think I'm going to have to start working him this way, unfortunately. We did uncover quite a bit of landmass over here. It looks to be at least the size of the island that we're on, maybe larger, and it does seem likely that there is a civ living somewhere over here. Reason saying that is there's at least 1 civ, probably 2, since they're competing for Susan Tree. So it looks like in our civics tree we've uncovered political philosophy, which is great. That'll give us our next tier of government slots and start unlocking policies that have our wildcard slot, and we can start getting that +2 on great scientists or profit. So I'm going to start researching political philosophy. We're going to move this galley around, try and do maybe a little bit more exploring before I get him in territory and heal. I will have, in 2 more turns, I'll have the other galley, and I'm going to send him, I think, this way across that strait. We can embark builders now, so I'm going to pop this builder out and place down the fish farm there. Gets us +half of a housing point, too. Ooh, there's our first goody hut, as we call them. If we can get a unit down there and step on that, it'll give us a little benefit. We finished the builder in our capital. Oh, that's interesting. Did I not? I forgot that our holy sites actually get +1 in tiles with charming appeal and +3 in breathtaking. And so when I placed this tack, it was originally going to be a +1 holy site. I completely forgot that these tacks will not take into account your civ's benefits if they have a benefit on that, like mine. And so this +1 holy site truly is a +4. And if I were to place it on this tile, I would get a +6, which is huge. And so I think the benefit of 2 is so worth it. Unfortunately, what I need to do here is chop that forest so I can get the production from it first. And I've already sent my builder out into the sea. I need to produce something short term, which is going to be a settler, so I can take advantage of my policy card and get him prepared to go across the sea here. What I need to do now is take this builder up here to this forest unit, or forest tile. Let's move this guy. Okay, great, we met Norway. I like playing against Norway. They do like strong sea units and civs, and so producing maritime military units will be great. It was great meeting him. We're going to exchange information on capitals. We'll get a Eureka from meeting another civ, which is great. It's writing. Let's continue to move. I worry about sending a damaged sea unit too far away, but so far it's working out well for us. We're setting that builder up to that forest tile. He's going to chop that and get a huge production boost towards that city. We did get a Eureka from producing our second galley in our second city, and that goes towards, what is that towards? Shipbuilding. Awesome. We're going to move this galley out here. We just met Candy, another city-state. Looks like we'll meet another city-state down this way. We did. Let's see what the status is. So we were not the first to meet any of those 3 city-states, or these 2, I guess, which is not great. That means we're pretty much surrounded by players that have already explored this area. There's 4 plugged in here, 2 into Candy. I don't really need the suzerainty of Candy. That doesn't do a whole lot for me. Not playing towards a religious victory. It could get me relics when we discover natural wonders, but it looks like there's already 2 envoys plugged in. I don't have any at the moment, and so to get 3 there would be probably pretty hard. Let's pop into production here. What do we want to produce in this city here? It could be a builder. In fact, you know what? We're on the coast. We've got the card plugged in. Let's do another galley. We're going to explore as much as we can in the sea here. We'll continue chugging along. This really has turned into a long game here. We're 59 turns in. We've only got 2 cities. We haven't left our initial continent, which is unfortunate. I am going to plow the woods here. It's going to buy us 54 production towards this settler. We should finish it out, and we'll even speed up our next production here, which is going to be the holy site. We're going to drop it onto this tile, +6 holy site, which is awesome. We finished our tech here on the wheel. Let's see, I think the goal is going to be writing here. We'll unlock that campus district and get that plopped down and producing some science output for us. Continue to move this galley back towards our shores. Can't embark the settler yet, so we'll just move them into position. Again, I think the play is going to be this landmass here. It's unsettled, it looks like. Shouldn't have any loyalty issues if that's the case. I am going to destroy these pins that I had placed down here. They're not needed anymore. Settler can't embark yet. Let's see what we need to research for embarking. Yes, so it's shipbuilding. So I need to get bronze working online and then shipbuilding. And in fact, why don't we rush for that? We're going to miss out on getting a campus up and running sooner than later, but we really need to get a 3rd city online here and cooking. Otherwise, we're missing out on a lot of benefits and resources. Continue to move this galley around the east coast of this island mass. can't embark the settler yet. I'm going to put him to sleep. We're going to move this guy towards our borders here. Once he's in borders, I'm going to heal him up before sending him back out. Continue to move this galley. So shockingly, this, what I thought was an island and ended here, actually does have a little connector and potentially an inland lake up here. But it's a significantly larger landmass than I originally thought, which is fine. I wish we could have gotten past those mountains and seen that sooner in the game, but it is what it is. We met Gilgamesh. It was great meeting him. Goodbye. Never really take too much time on my meetings. It does. They say that it's not random, but it does seem random what they think of you after meeting him. He's at war with 2 players. He didn't look too happy with us. Yeah, -2 for unknown reasons. And so the meeting of him really didn't affect the outcome of that, in my opinion. We are going to place down this fishing boat here. It gets us +1 food and another plus 0.5 housing space, which in reality is +1 with this fishery here. Uh, Getting 2 sea resources online also gives us a tech boost towards celestial navigation, which is great. And that boost also gets us the +1 era score. We're at 16 already towards our 18 for normal era. Hoping to get a golden era at the end of this one. We'll continue to move this galley. And we've met Catherine of France. Great.
Je vous souhaite la bienvenue à mon royaume. J'ai grand désir et envie de découvrir tous vos secrets.
Okay, it was an honor meeting you. We want to sample your hospitality. This is starting to really concern me. I'm seeing a lot of barbarian units moving around on this island here, and trying to get this settler on and kill these units is going to be really challenging, I think, especially if there's like 5 or 6 of them. Can't move anyone yet. We still need to unlock bronze working, which we're in the process of doing. Rest and repair for this galley who finally made it back into our territory. Continue to progress here. There's not really a need to go up and explore that little cove there. We'll keep moving him down the south of this landmass. I can't believe that this is all connected. And so we're actually neighbors with Paris on the same piece of land. Paris has at least 3 cities, it looks like. At this point in the game, 65 turns, I would expect probably 3 to 4 for the AI on this difficulty. We've already rested this galley. We've got him up and running. We'll send him back to the south. This galley, let's pop over. See, that's just a 1-tile island. Is there another one? It'd be cool if there's another one out here. Unfortunately, there's not. The reason I say that, if I could have settled, say, on this island and popped the Halicarnassus, the Wonder over here, that would get me huge returns on these shallow shore tiles. Instead, there's not. Another benefit was if I could have settled on an island and popped a campus here. It's got adjacency to some coral reefs, would have been nice, but still might not be a bad city to settle here. If France were to settle here, 1, 2, 3, she could lock up all of this territorial water and prevent movement of ships in or out of here. Not a huge deal. I could friend her and get open borders, but in reality, if I can own this sea trading route, that would be huge and kind of limit her naval military power from accessing through here. Got our 3rd galley online. We're going to send them up this way since our other 2 are tied up down here. I'm sending this galley back down. I'm hoping that this ties into some land down there. We'll send this guy along the western coastline here. No point in really settling another holy site. There was a +6 up here, but the reality is we want that +5 campus, which I think that's going to be higher than a +5 campus. Let's reread this. Yields from campuses, commercial hubs, holy sites, and theater squares are +1 in charming appeal and 3 in breathtaking. And so if I'm understanding this correctly, that's a breathtaking. And so that's not going to be a +5, that's going to be like a +7 or +8, which is insane. This same city, our 2nd city, let's do... There is a benefit for having, I believe it is 3 archer units, but At 17 turns for an archer, that just doesn't make sense to me. What I do need to do is boost my food and production in this city. And I think the best way to do that is we're going to pop out another builder and get more of these resources online. Give us better tile yields. We'll keep moving. Oh, that really stinks. This does not tie in with the shallow waters, and I can't enter the deep ocean yet with this galley. And so that really stinks. That'll force me to send this galley back up to the north. This guy will continue to move. We're going to miss this Haboob. Finding a little bit of desert on this coastline. We've found Hunza, which is great. We've still only got one envoy plugged into 2 of our city-states. Okay. We got some era score there. We got a boost on our tech tree. We finished this holy site. Why don't we pop into the Great People View? So Samaria is getting plus 4.6 great profit points per turn. I'm getting plus 1 per turn off of my holy site. It's only showing 0 because it hasn't updated the UI yet. Norway's getting plus 3, France is 1, 1, 0. And so to secure a great profit, it would be great to work a shrine into this city right now. Is there anything else that I really need at the moment? I really do need a settler to take advantage of my government policy card that I've plugged in. Could also use more archers. Could use another builder. I think the play here, again, we're risking losing Temple of Artemis, but I think the play here really is to get that shrine online as soon as possible. That shrine will add plus 1 great person point towards a profit every turn. And so the sooner you get it online, the more points you're getting towards that. This is really concerning. Samaria just hired out all of the military units from that city-state.
Divide and rule.
Which could signal that he's planning to attack me. I don't have much of a military or naval forces yet, and you can see that he's not too happy with me. It wouldn't be too shocking if he did declare a war on me, and I'm in a good defensive area, so we'll see what happens with that. Looking at the governments, I unlocked the Tier 1 government policies. They all have their own modifiers. So Classical Republic gets you cities with a district receive plus 1 housing, which would be my capital right now with their holy site, and plus 1 amenity. Plus 15% towards great person points, which would be working towards my great profit at the moment. Oligarchy gets me some military benefits here, plus 20% unit experience, and autocracy gets me work towards wonders. I think the move here is Classical Republic. It seems like it almost always is. So we'll plug that in. We'll get our plus 2 era score here. You can see in the background we're working towards that golden age. We're at 23 out of 32 for golden age. We lost access to all of our military policy slots, which I think is fine for now. We don't have anything working in that anyway. I am going to plug in the Great Prophet, plus 2 Great Prophet points in Revelation. Some of our Dark Era cards are starting to pick up steam. We do have plus 3.8 Science and a minus 1.2 Culture. If I plug this in, it would have to go into the wildcard slot, and I think this makes the most sense with the Revelations, so we'll keep that in there. Here's the 2 diplomatic cards I discussed earlier, plus 2 influence points per turn. That's going to make the most sense right now because we don't have any envoys at the moment to send. Once we do, we can plug in this card and start plugging and chugging into city-states to get 2 out of each envoy we send, if it's the first envoy. And we have 1 open economic policy slot. I think we're getting decent gold return per turn. I think right now it's going to be production. That'll really help once we settle our 3rd city. That'll get us plus 1 production in that 3rd city. We'll continue as far as we can exploring this coastline. We'll probably get shut off here with closed borders soon. I think state workforce probably makes sense here. We need to catch up to this civics line. Otherwise we're going to fall way behind and not be able to unlock these unrevealed technologies in civics. So we'll keep that going. We're going to send this galley as far as we can. See what we can't discover over here. This is really concerning to me. I think he's sending these troops my way. Oh no, he didn't. Okay. That's good news for us. We don't have to defend against him if he's going to send him out into the ocean. We'll move this galley again as far as we can, see what we can't find down here. This galley's going to continue west, and this one's going south. We did find a little tiny landmass here. It looks like just a one-tile island. That's pretty worthless. Let's see what happened here. It says fill policy slot, which means that our card in here that was gaining us +2 great profit points has unplugged. And this is really unfortunate. We lost out on that last great profit, which I'm shocked. There was only 3 people that were ahead of us at the time, I believe. So that really stinks. Unfortunately, we're locked into a holy site here, which is going to be worthless. But in the meantime, let's plug in inspiration. That'll give us +2 great scientist points per turn. I think that's the biggest benefit to us right now.
Dovreste prestare attenzione a ciò che accade d'intorno. Credetemi, vi sono fin troppi giochini che stanno avendo luogo.
Okay, we're going to send this galley to the west, and I think this is going to be our one last turn for the day, and we'll call the episode here. Let's take this galley and send them up my coastline. We'll see if we can't sneak them past these borders for now. Let's see what's down here. More ice. This really isn't panning out to be anything down here, which is fine. And with that, we're going to call the episode there since we just hit the one last turn. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll continue this gameplay in the next episode.